It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for the work that you do, and the work that you do on behalf of Ireland. It's easy for me to say that to people who are from Ireland, who are Irish. But for others who participate, promote, expand, and tell others how good Ireland is, I really appreciate that. And it was one of the things that I learned on my first visit to China. And I'm somebody who always watches things and tried to see what do other jurisdictions, what do other cultures do differently than us. But one of the things that I saw very early was the Chinese population, in particular China, thank people much more sincerely than we do. So we all know to have a nice day, thank you very much. That's a matter of course, whereas what I saw in China was people actually thanking you for whatever was being done. So most sincerely on behalf of the Government of Ireland, I thank each and every one of you the work that you do. Fergal made the point about PWC Inc. benefiting. Well, that means Ireland Inc. The Exchequer benefits from all those jobs from Brexit, but every other opportunity as well as Brexit. We've done very well in the scheme of things. The last figure that I saw was Ireland has captured about 100 out of 275 opportunities. And I use the term opportunities because you can't compare potentially a small fintech company with perhaps the likes of Barclays, who moved in one tranche 190 billion euros. But it's about 100 out of 275, so we've captured about a third of what was available. When I came in, I could see other jurisdictions were trying to be opportunistic, and it's not something that I wanted to be said about the Irish in relation to the British difficulty. Because the British were having a difficulty, British companies, British business, and the angle that I wanted to pivot towards was that if a company had a difficulty, that Ireland could be part of their solution. And I think it really went down well. I think it went down well on the basis that we weren't seen to be opportunistic, like other jurisdictions who speak French. And it didn't quite work out for others the way that they said that it would. So our German counterparts in Frankfurt said that they were dominating the banking sector in total. So to put the figures into context, for banking, Frankfurt has probably done best out of everybody. About 700 billion euros worth of assets has been transferred from the UK to Frankfurt. Ireland is about 350. So we're half of what they are in the area that they said that they were dominant. And we have a lot of other sectors, whether it's aircraft leasing, fintech, banking, payments, and others, that we've done quite well in, let alone the area where we're strongest, which is funds and administration. So I'm pleased at where we are in terms of those opportunities, but those opportunities in truth are small. So I'm somebody like Fergal, I'm a culture. I'm a proper culture. I didn't live in a town in the countryside. I live down a country lane and live on a farm, and I was making cows this morning. So that's what a real culture is. But to put it into context, ladies and gentlemen, these are the small opportunities. There are enormous losses that will flow if Brexit goes in the wrong direction. The figures from the SRI you've probably seen last number of days, 50,000 to 80,000 jobs. I want to put that into context, and it is important. We created 66,000 jobs last year. So in the worst case scenario, we'll lose a year. And to put that into context, that will be a fraction of what we've lost in the last decade. And the last decade, come back to our recession, the start of it, has been very difficult for so many people. I've described it as the lost decade, and the next decade will be much better. And it is important to always be positive. I'm very positive about where we are, how we can advance, how we can achieve and pivot. The mark of any community, society, economy is to be able to move quickly and be fleet of foot. And that is what Ireland Incorporated, Ireland, the jurisdiction, that is Ireland, that is what we are able to do. Probably do it better than anybody else. So I attended the Asian Financial Forum last January. It's my second opportunity to attend. I in 2018 when I attended, I visited Singapore, Shanghai and Hong Kong. This year I visited Hong Kong, Macau and Beijing. So I'm getting around the continent, even though it's only 6 stops on a huge continent. I really love getting to see the new jurisdictions and learning from people and seeing what they're good at and seeing how we can improve that. It was a pleasure to invite Secretary James Lau, the Secretary for Financial Services and the Treasury, to come to Dublin. I addressed the AFF and Mr. Lau addressed the EFF, which was really good. My contribution to the forum was part of a larger programme of work that included engagement with business leaders, as I said, in Macau, with clients of IDA and Enterprise Ireland, and also in Beijing, where I met and included the Asian Infrastructure Bank and the World Bank, Mr. Louis, who is Vice Chairman, who is in the Chinese Ministry for Finance. And we're inviting Mr. Wee to come and address the European Financial Forum in 2020. So I'd love if you could come along, would be great. But it isn't just, and Tim touched upon the governmental visits around Asia. We don't use the J word, the junket word, because they're not a junket. So I was in the Netherlands and Germany. I was in 5 cities, 5 days, 5 hotels, 5 airports, 5 motorways, 5 everything. And it's really an incredible opportunity. I want to correct Tim as well, it's the St. Patrick's Week. We don't celebrate it. It's not too big now to celebrate it in a day. So we have a St. Patrick's Week. And it's really pleasing to see the opportunity that we get to touch base with not just business, but governmental and regulatory structures as well. Because the biggest aspect of Brexit that I see, I'm going to just finish on Brexit after this, is it's so pleased to be a small nation with the support of a continent when dealing with another country. And I have to admit, it's been very humbled to have the support of a continent. That support wasn't just there by accident. Years, decades have been spent building up that level of support. And in an unusual, semi-perverse sort of a way, the British leaving and Brexit has strengthened Europe beyond anybody's belief. And that's happened because there are a lot more small countries in the European Union now today than there are large countries. And the smaller countries are able to see the benefit of being in a large club with the support of a continent if there is a difficulty. And it was something that has probably gone a little bit unnoticed. We're the key target groups in financial services, namely the Shanghai Asset Management Association, the Hong Kong Exchange, the Asset Management Association of China, and the Insurance Asset Management Association of China also. But I do want to touch upon the use of this opportunity to show you that all of the key players on Team Ireland have been working to promote both inward investment and exports by indigenous companies. The need for both the public sector and the private sector to work together, the need for all actors within these sectors to play a role, will be essential if Ireland is to successfully build on the achievement of our financial services over the last 30 years. And I'm very pleased with the document that we have. There are 4 primary pillars. The first one is communications and promotion. And I guess I realised there was something needed to be done when I was flying home from the City of London Airport after meeting a number of UK companies to Dublin. And I presented my boarding pass, and the bottom half of my boarding pass was an advertisement by Luxembourg for financial services. And that's what they're doing. That's the space that they're in. I'm not saying we're going to go there, but when I went looking to see where was our communications, outside of the IDA's superb role of promotion within companies, we weren't in that space at all, and we need to be. The operating environment, I'm very eager that we improve the operating environment in Ireland. I'm satisfied that there needs to be restructures, there needs to be reforms. One of those reforms will be within the Department of Finance. And again, we want to pull knowledge and expertise that is in the sector, and we want to increase the actual Department of Finance section. So put into context, about 22% of the corporate tax returns in 2018 came from the financial services sector. and we have about 3% of the employment. Puts it into context. And I have a section within the Department of Finance of 7 people. It isn't capable of managing a sector that is so important to the National Exchequer. So the operating environment from the Department of Finance will improve. It will be from the Industry Advisory Committee that Derek sits upon. I requested a banking advisory board to interchange views with the central bank. That's been agreed as part of the document. And one other aspect that is important as well, I try to challenge groups and people. I'm quite challenging on myself, but the sector itself needs to reform and rationalise. There are too many groups, too many areas that are moving in different directions, whether it's funds, insurance, aircraft leasing, ETFs. It doesn't matter. There's about 25 groups, and we need to rationalise that under a single umbrella. And I will be very hopeful that people will see that under that new single umbrella that we're able to promote this sector in its totality rather than individually. So that will be the operating environment to be improved as well. We are very fortunate with the talent that we have in this country. And the talent isn't just Irish. And the talent being international and diverse is a real benefit. And I got a glimpse of this when I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, when I was making the point that it isn't just people who can come in here that they come here to work, and we're glad that they do because we get the benefit of their work and we get the benefit of taxing them. Those people are welcome. And we don't care where you're from, what continent you're from, what colour your skin is, what religion you are, or what your sexuality is. You are welcome. That welcome, you can't create it. It's there or it's not. And it is a welcome here in Ireland. And it's something that took me a bit of time to realise how fortunate we are to have that welcome. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, we have a number of pillars that will cross those in terms of sustainable green finance. Any of you have heard me, you know how passionate I am about trying to develop Ireland into an international global hub for that. The diversity thing will be really, really important in terms of people and how we improve diversity in the sector. Diversity moves away from group thinking. And then finally, Fergal touched upon it earlier, and that is the regionalisation. We have in the document the challenges that Dublin are facing. We haven't pretended that it's all roses. It isn't all roses, it's not all perfect. But Dublin is facing the same challenges that I see in just about every successful city. Too much traffic, problem with housing, not enough school places, and it's bursting at the seams. But we have a really superb regional offering, and if there is displacement, that you can be assured that the offering we have in the regions may be not as strong as Dublin, but there are other opportunities that Dublin won't be able to have. And one of those really big opportunities is the retention of staff, that you guys don't all go swiping staff from the other side. And that if you get started in an area where the staff are there, that the retention of staff is multiple times what it is perhaps in Dublin. So that's a kind of a glimpse of where we are. I'm very hopeful for the sector. The reason I went to a new strategy starting at zero was the 2020 plan was based upon, which was launched in 2015, was based upon the 2009 plan. So in effect, I wasn't satisfied that we had a 30-year sector, industry, based upon a plan that was 10 years old. It was outdated, it was gone. The advancement in innovation and technology will be challenging in the extreme, but I'm satisfied that the new strategy that we will have will underpin the sector for quite some time. And again, thank you for the work that you do on behalf of Ireland. I'm delighted to be here with Asia Matters. Again, thank Martin for that. He has definitely mentioned Cork 40 times already today. So maybe we'll change the banner to Cork Asia Matters.
Cork Matters. We are Cork.
We are Cork.
But again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak, and I wish you well.